Let's get ready to rumble.
Hello, it's Liam from the Hibs Ramble. We're going to do things a little bit backwards today because I've got Rory Barraclough on, Mr El Dorado, to do the podcast this evening, and he had to run away before we got time to answer the listener questions. So I'm going to do them by myself, and then put this at the start of the podcast, and then hopefully after you've listened to your questions, you can either fuck off and no bother listening to the rest of the podcast, or you can stick around and listen to what me and Rory have got to talk about. So I will answer the listener questions now, and then you can get into the meat and drink of the podcast just after. So first off, as always, Mr. John McIntosh asks, what's for dinner? And this is the reason I wanted to do this, because I have made the most banging Thai green chicken curry for my dinner, and I'm going to eat it as soon as I've finished doing this quick video. So that's what I'm having, John, for my dinner. I hope you can tell me what you're having for your dinner. Gav Dick is asking, or is saying, David Dickinson showing again why he's an abysmal referee. We kind of touch on this a little bit in the podcast itself about David Dickinson and obviously the red card or lack thereof decision in the Aberdeen game. So, no, David Dickinson is absolutely not the real deal, Gav. Jordan Robertson says, why does the 4-1 against Falkirk feel better than that pish getting beat off relegation for their Aberdeen is unacceptable? To be honest, I don't like getting beat at any time. The 4-1 against Falkirk was really, really poor. We were really bad that night. And it just felt like we didn't really ever get up for the game on Saturday there. And probably ended up being the right result, Aberdeen getting a win, which is unfortunate because obviously we want Hibs to win every single game that they play in. And, I just don't think we were really up to it or anywhere near the levels required to pick up 3 points, unfortunately. James Kinneborough says, when did VAR start giving yellow cards? Well, I think that the referee goes to VAR initially. He's instructed to because he's missed the off-the-ball incident, goes over to the monitor, and VAR's obviously saying to him that it's serious foul play and it's a red card, and then he decides it's only a yellow. I don't think he's got involved, or VAR's got involved to say this has happened, I think you should book him. I think it's got involved. VAR's said this has happened, I think you should give him a red card, or think about giving him a red card. And then David Dickinson is deemed it only to be a yellow card, which for me is bizarre. Hebe 1967 says, is Sir David Gray the manager to take us forward next season? And if not, who? See, to be honest, this is a conversation that I've had a lot of times. And I think it is a case of be careful what you wish for. Us as Hibs fans, as I'm sure the listener will also know, is we've been through a lot of shit in terms of getting managers in who have been nowhere near good enough. I mean, even just recently, you look at Nick Montgomery, you look at Lee Johnson, Sean Maloney, etc., etc. We looked like we were on to a winner of Jack Ross. Pulled the trigger, in my opinion, a bit too early on that one. And, we were in a bit of a tailspin for 3 or 4 years. And David Gray's brought a little bit of stability to the club. And I think that's what is needed. Otherwise, if you're going to just churn through managers, like we used to, then you're left with players who are there and kind of are given a fresh slate, a clean slate every 6 months. We could see from a mile off that Jake Doyle-Hayes was nowhere near the level required for Hibs. Harry McCurdy as well got a clean slate off a couple of managers. So I think that the fact that we've got a bit of stability now with Dave Gray means that we can hopefully try and build a little bit more. The best football teams are ones that aren't chopping and changing their managers every 6 months. And to be honest, backing up a third place finish with potentially a fourth place finish is nowhere near a disaster. I think the only reason that we're seeing this season as a little bit of a disappointment is because we're seeing what's happening over the road and seeing that they're doing exceptionally well coming to the business end of the season. Next up, Spot asks, what changes, except obviously Hanley, would you make for the derby? I'm probably the wrong person to be asked this. I do think that Martin Boyle should start. Derbies are Martin Boyle's forte when it comes to playing for Hibs. And I think that you need to get the players on the park that are going to give you the most impact from the start. It's a cup final for Hibs, it's a cup final for Hearts. And I think that there probably will be a few changes made. I would have liked to have seen Rocky in had Hanley not got sent off. I'd like to have seen Rocky playing in a back three with Warner Hora and Jack Iredale. So I think obviously he'll come in. I think Martin Boyle's got to start. I don't think Dane Scarlett's the answer up front. I think we'd maybe see Boyle and Elding, or maybe even Boyle and Suttle. You never know. So that's something obviously that we'll need to look out for. And then finally, our best friend, Hong Kong Harry, says the width of the gap. And he's not replied to my reply tweet. And I've said, if you don't start being kinder to us, we're going to have to rethink this relationship. So if you're listening, Harry, screw the nut, pal. Thank you very much for all your questions and enjoy the podcast. Yes, we're back. Episode 157 of the Hibs Ramble. It's me, your host, as always, Liam, here this evening, and I'm joined by Mr El Dorado himself, Rory Barraclough. How the devil are you, my friend?
Not bad at all. I don't actually need a name anymore. That's all I have. That's who I am. I get it. It grinds now. Just people shouting at me. I just legally changed my name to that.
Well, other people might know you as Mr. El Dorado, but I know you as a different nickname, don't I, Rory? Or Duracell, should I call you?
Duracell, yeah. A short-lived nickname when I was a kid. But I always thought it was because I was full of energy. I think it was just because I was a total pain as a kid, just annoying people, man.
I think it was just because you never stopped running. Well, I mean, I can't really remember. We were so young.
That's it. We go way back, and we've known each other for years. And then if Hearts win the league, we'll never see each other again because I'm moving to an island somewhere. So
yep, and I'll probably move to the island next door and start following water polo or fucking curling or whatever.
Someone that don't like football, just any other sport.
Aye, far enough away that before you keep going, you don't start to come back. Maybe the moon or something. That'll do. I'll take the moon. Anyway, I don't really want to talk about Rory, but we're going to have to. We got beat the weekend. We got beat 2-0 by Aberdeen in a game that I really expected us to go up there and give them a little bit of a doing. Obviously, they have just changed their manager. They've not had a good season at all. Haven't really been picking up wins, and we kind of needed a win to keep the pressure on Motherwell, especially after their result at the weekend. I mean, a win would have been great for us, but we go up there, and to say that we were out the game after about 15 minutes, Rory, is probably a little bit of an understatement. I don't think we started very well. Don't think that the team selection offered an awful lot, although what do you do to change it? And then talk me through, if you're Grant Hanley, talk me through what you're doing on that 15-minute mark when all Asanya's gone past you.
I mean, it's just very Hibs to come along and save your season. It's just so frustrating. And it's also very Hibs this season just to, I don't know, stuttery. There's been good moments. And it could even end with we're winning a derby in a couple of weeks. And then, you could see Hibs winning a derby and finishing fourth, getting Europe. And on paper, that all sounds all right. But it hasn't felt that way. It hasn't felt like a really exciting season, like loads has gone on. Haven't won the Cups. Yeah. And then the game itself was like, again, Aberdeen new manager can give you a bounce, but they haven't been up to much this season. And we made them look really good again. Mm-hmm. not wanted to say it too much because I didn't want to sound like I think there's this problem. So you know when you say, "Oh, I don't like that player," you then get you get caught into it, and then you don't start wanting to do badly, but you know what I mean. You're in group chats, and if they do well, people are having you a go at you, and when they do badly, you're like, "See," and you don't want to get kind of stuck into that.
That was me with Alec Gogic when he was at Hibs. And Paul
Really,
McGinn.
yeah. You start kind of you don't because you want to support your own players, but I don't know. I was never fully, even at the point at which people were saying Hanley was doing really well, I wasn't fully convinced. The first derby that we lost at Tynecastle, everyone said, "Oh, he played really well. He's getting rid of everything." I was like, "Yeah, but he was quite literally getting rid of everything. You know, there's nobody around him, and he was just launching it." And I thought against Rangers pretty early on at Ibrox, he was doing this thing where he was just charging at balls, and maybe he used to have the speed to catch up with himself to cover himself, but he was just leaving big gaps in behind. And I just feel like with a centre back, the best centre backs are the ones that you don't really hear much from. You know, not necessarily the heroic ones. I think our best centre back this season has been Warren O'Hara. I haven't heard much of him in every game, just solid. Whereas Hanley just seems to be in and about it all the time, and he gets in behind there, and he does take him down. He rolls back. I don't really know what he does. He does a wee roly poly backwards and somehow takes him down, and it's not great. He's not been terrible for us, but he's not been great. I don't know what I would do, but I wouldn't do that. And also, it's only 15 minutes in the game, so it's not the point at which I might as well take a red card for it. Just let him score. I mean, I'd rather he scored than we were down to 10 men. So everything after that seems like the game's kind of done. And then it's so us. It's so us that there's no red card given. Go check VAR, gives it. Then there's a red card given, goes and checks it, and it's taken away. When that was clear as day for me. That's clear as day, red card.
I mean, we'll touch on that in a second. I wanted to kind of talk about Grant Hanley, and I've been saying this to some of my mates and stuff that I think he's a good defender. He's a good defender when the ball's in front of him, and people are running at him, and they're not going past him. But that's the second time he's let us down like that this season. Think back to Motherwell. He takes a red card, and I don't think he gave away a penalty. I think it was a free kick, but they scored from that free kick.
It's the same situation. It's early in the game as well, so it's not necessary. Exactly. It kind of kills the game unless they're going to get another red card. The chances are it's killed the game.
Yeah, and I mean he's let us down because you can talk about the conditions all you want about it's windy and the ball's got away from him and the pacey Olasanya and that, but you're a defender with years and years of Premiership and Championship experience. You shouldn't be doing that. It was all about WWE. John Cena probably would have been proud of it, but no. And it's just typical that it's Kevin Nisbet that tucks away the penalty as well. And then celebrates, actually. What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, I always felt like Kevin Nisbet kind of played for Kevin Nisbet. I mean, he was never dishonest about that. He never, claimed to be a passionate, loyal player for you. But he leaves a lot of his clubs very fast. He put in a transfer request after he played for us for 6 months. So it's not like, I don't think it's like he doesn't ask to be loved by ex-fans of clubs, but he also doesn't, he doesn't do anything for it. So yeah, sure, whatever. It's not going to keep me up at night.
No,
I just like to see our players putting things away like that. He's had an all right season considering that Aberdeen aren't very good. It started off slowly, but he's done all right as the season's gone on. So looks like they might survive. And
unfortunately,
well, I mean, they've got that thing, haven't they, of they've never been relegated. So we've obviously had to endure that during my lifetime. Went down and spent 3 seasons down there. So it feels like everyone has to do it, but apparently not for Aberdeen.
It'd be good fun. Sean disagreed with me on last week's pod, being like, "Oh no, we don't really want him to go down. Doesn't reflect well on the Scottish game." But I'm thinking, if the tables were turned, they'd be wanting us to go down. Absolutely. I don't think they will go down. I don't think we're that lucky. I think the only big team that are going to go down this season is going to be Spurs. unfortunately for them. But
That looks like
that's a
that,
by
yeah,
the
for
by.
sure.
Now, the other major talking point in the first half, and I think we'll probably both have a lot to say about this, was Gyamfi. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Gyamfi, his sucker punch to the back of Owen Elding's head. Wasn't seen initially by the referee. I think it's fairly off the ball. So you're probably not criticising David Dickinson for not seeing it first off. But he gets instructed to go to the monitor and he sees it, 10, 12 times, and it is either a push or a punch to the back of the head off the ball. David Dickinson looks at that and goes, not a problem, that's a booking. Now, what level of incompetence does the referee have to be? And we know from, a lot of this season that the referees aren't great. They're getting helped by VAR, but not always. But at what do you think he's seen, and what's the conversation that's been had there between him and VAR for him to go, that's just a booking? Because for me, that's serious foul play.
Yeah, I mean, it brings up that question over. I said he gave it, didn't he? No, he just missed it and then went over to check. It just raises that question again. If I'm just watching it here, there are problems, massive problems with VAR in Scotland. You saw it at the weekend. Was the ball out? Was it not? We had that problem against Celtic and against Rangers at the end of last season. So it's not like this hasn't happened before and the angles aren't there. But then this shows that even when the angles are there, the footage is there, that we can see these things happen, that we've got referees who then look at it and still have a problem. So that then raises the questions of, even if we get this all sorted, even if we get better cameras, if we get a system which can show them it faster and we can deal with it, we're still getting to the point where it's like, well, is it making the game any fairer? Are the referees any more competent with it? No, they're not. Yeah. And the way I think of it now is, if I imagine pre-VAR, and I think, how much were we talking about refereeing decisions? A fair bit. I mean, it's always been something. I don't think that'll ever change. People like to make out that it's possible to fix it. It's not. It's not an easy job being a ref, but it's also something that we'll always talk about and disagree on decisions. Do we talk about it less now that VAR's in? No, we're talking about it more. It's every week. There's just constant discussion about refereeing decisions. We'd be better going back to just go with what the ref says, lump it, like it, because this is silly. And I don't understand. I feel like the barrier for what's a red card's dropped so much since I started watching football. And then I see something like that, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that would have been a red card years ago, He petulantly throws an arm out. I'm not saying he connects. I mean, that's what Dean Shields got sent off for against Craig Gordon, He doesn't connect or anything. He just kind of bundles him over, shoves an arm. It's like a forearm into him. I don't see how that's any different.
I don't understand how the referee can see anything but a red card there, because his arm shouldn't be up that way, and he pushes it out as well. He's not got any reason to do it, so I don't understand why he's not given a red card. But I'm exactly the same as you. It's not the technology that's the problem. Yes, we could always have more cameras and better cameras. I spoke with Sean about this last week. Like, some of the footage that you see for like the replays on VAR, and you can't tell like what's what, because the footage is that grainy. It looks like it's been shot on a tatty, and like. But you see that there. That's not the technology's fault. That's the person's fault for. And I mean, I don't know what's been said in the VAR room. I would imagine it's going to be one that's coming out on the review with Willie Collum at the end of the month. I'd like to think that it was anyway. And I just don't know how they're going to explain this away, because raising your hands to the back of someone's head, you get a point deducted in boxing or MMA. You get lifted on the street for doing that to somebody. How's it not a fucking red card? I can't believe it.
I don't know. It's crazy. There's no way of knowing. And that would have changed the game as well hugely. Is it a massively important game in our season? Not really anymore. But it's a massively important game in theirs, and in Kilmarnock's and in Dundee's. So this stuff matters. And if this happens in a derby, like an Edinburgh derby, or a Celtic Rangers game, they'll care about it then.
Yeah.
Everyone will care about it then, and we've got to watch. We've got to watch because it's like, well, I say we got nothing's changing. And I do think of all the refs, I think David Dickinson is quite famously poor. So it's nothing less than I'd expect. But you've got to wonder because VAR, the reason that they send you, the only reason they send you over is they think you've made a mistake. It was the same.
Yeah.
Do you mind early on we had the game at Tynecastle and penalty Hearts, and it was a clear dive. Gets sent to the monitor. Kevin Clancy decides, no, I'm going to stick with my original decision, inexplicably. It's the same with this. They've sent you to the monitor because they think you've made a mistake.
Yeah. And it's not even that he's made a mistake. It's that, listen, David, you've not seen this happening off the ball. We want to bring it to your attention, and we think it's serious foul play. And
I also just don't get why it works like that. I don't. In every other sport that has it, the guy who's on the telly just goes, "Oh, by the way, this happened."
Yeah.
I think you might have made a mistake, and you need to go over to the monitor and check it yourself, and then also decide, because we don't want to be re-refereeing a match. Just tell him. Do you know what I mean? When the fourth official spots something and he says he's just committed a red card offence, and he tells the ref believes him and gives him a red card. But for some reason,
that's what happened.
You got to go over and check on it. I don't know why.
That's how it happened before. You remember if someone punched someone off the ball and the lino saw it, the referee didn't see it, the lino would go in his ear and say, "Listen, number 6 has just punched number 5. It's a red card offence, send them off." That exactly what you're saying. There's absolutely no difference from someone in the VAR room saying, "Listen, David, Aberdeen's number whatever he is has just punched Owen Elding in the back of the head. That's a red card offence. But go and have a look at it yourself."
Just waste another few minutes. Just waste another few minutes looking at it on a screen.
It's
the same stuff I've just looked at a screen to decide whether you need to go and look at it. It's pointless.
Yeah, it's and again, something that I said to Sean last week is that it's just killing. It is killing the enjoyment of the game. Like we, as youngsters, we grew up loving the game and it being flowing, and we watched a Tony Mowbray Hibs and it was fast flowing football, and like other people our age would have watched Larson, Hartson, and like Novo and that Celtic and Rangers, and all these incredible players and incredible football being played, and the subject matter wasn't the referees and it wasn't the decisions that were being made on the pitch. It was the footballers. But I feel sorry for Bairns growing up these days because they've not got that. They've got stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. It's like watching the NFL at times, which is quite painful to watch, even if you do like it, because of how long it takes. But listen, we could probably sit here and talk about VAR all night. But for me, it's the most blatant red card I've seen all season. I've not got any qualms or any problems with the Grant Hanley one. I think that's also a red card. And I'm not saying that if the referee had given Aberdeen a red card that we'd have got back into the game or won the game or anything like that. But I'm just thinking, why? Just what's going through his head, man? I think he was steaming.
That is the job of a ref. That's what you do. It's what you're there for. But it's all right. Don't worry about it because Willie Collum will apologise in a week, so that'll make it all up.
That's fine. Ken, I actually don't mind Willie Collum. I quite like watching his VAR reviews.
No, I agree, and I also think that it's not him refereeing every game, and I think his attitude and what he's brought in has been a slight improvement. When he came in, I remember the first season of VAR. Yeah, was it first and second season, but particularly the first season before he came in, the delays were unreal. That has improved. The amount of delay has gone down, and it feels like they're interfering slightly less. The first season was crazy. So he's keen on trying to improve it. I don't hate him, but I do think that potentially the quality of the referees he has at his disposal is a problem for him.
There's a couple of good ones. There is a couple of good ones. I mean, I think McLean's all right. Try to think of many other ones. I don't think. I mean, there's a couple of good ones, but there's not many. Kevin Clancy, I think, can be okay at times, but you've got like Dickinson is awful. Don Robertson is awful. Nick Walsh can be okay at times, but on the whole is awful. We miss Bobby Madden. That's what we do. We miss Bobby Madden.
Careful now. We don't want to lose the plot completely.
I'm only saying that because I connected with him on LinkedIn recently.
Oh, right, okay. Trying to get an interview.
Yeah, aye. I'd love to talk to Bobby Madden. He works in the world of whiskey now, apparently. Not meaning to dox you, Bobby, but that's it's all free information on your LinkedIn profile. And I've just showed how much of a geek I am by saying that.
PFL ref and whiskey connoisseur is probably the most Scottish career path of all time. That's great. I like that. He's this close to selling kilts.
Exactly. Oh man, what a boy. Yeah, so moving on, the rest of the game, it was all a bit powder puff from Hibs. Not an awful lot of chances. I think it was just kind of try and see the game out, to be honest. And I don't really blame David Gray, for the players that he had at his disposal, on the bench and stuff. I thought maybe Boyle could have come on a little bit earlier. Suto comes on, doesn't really do an awful lot. Boyle comes on, doesn't do an awful lot, and just looked like we were resigned to getting beat after the penalty had gone in. But then Kevin Nisbet makes it 2 with a really, really good strike. Again, I think it kind of sums up our day, how that goal goes into the back of the net. It's taking a deflection on its way through into the box. Kevin Nisbet takes an excellent touch, and then he scalps it off the bar, bounces over the line. The referee doesn't give it initially and then ends up giving it. So I think it was kind of testament to...
That's another concerning one, because, it was quite clearly over the line as well.
It was miles over the line, mate. I remember talking about that. I remember there was a game that we played Dunfermline. I think it was maybe back in 2011, 2012. It was the year that we got beat in the cup final by Hearts, I think. All and right. we were kind of in a relegation dogfight for a wee while. And we got Dunfermline at home and we beat them 4-0 or something, 4-1, something like that. And Paul Hanlon scored. But it was kind of similar to the Kevin Nisbet one. It came in, he's headed it, and it's come off the bar. And
crashed off the bar. I think I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and it's bounced about 5 yards, not over the line into the goal, over the line like into the 6-yard box, and then bounced out. And the referee's given it as a goal. And I think everyone in the stadium could see that's never gone over the line. It bounced off the bar, basically bounced in front of the keeper and then bounced away again. He's given it as a goal. Yeah, it's difficult to tell sometimes, in real time. And thankfully for Kevin Nisbet and Aberdeen, VAR's bailed them out, because it would have been a disgrace if that hadn't been counted as a goal. And then it was kind of just damp squib from then on until the final whistle.
Yeah, to be honest, Rory, at all in that game. And that's the other thing. It's almost good, though, because I think if we'd won that game, we'd almost certainly lost the derby. So what Hibs is going to turn up, I don't know. I feel like this is a Hibs team that rises to big occasions rather than kind of shies away from them, wilts. 2 derbies at Tynecastle we've lost, but we did win Easter Road. We've beaten Celtic at Celtic Park. So we've done all right in some big games. So it's possible. Hibs crowd behind us. You got hope. We can get a win. And that's all we're looking forward to now. I just wonder what Hibs team's going to show up. And
yeah.
I
think it's a cup final for both teams, in 2 very different senses. I think it's a cup final for us. I don't think because we can then kick on and try and finish 4th, because Motherwell have got Rangers when we've got Hearts. So you would expect Rangers to beat. That's at Ibrox. You would expect Rangers to beat them. And then
Motherwell fallen off recently as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and then if we beat Hearts, then we're on level on points with Motherwell. But for me, it's not about that. For me, it's about pulling Hearts back and letting Rangers or Celtic power on through.
You ask any Hibs fan, that's what the season's about now. Winning that derby for the reasons you've just mentioned. That's what's left in it. And I don't think that's an embarrassing or a bad thing. That's what rivalries are all about. Any Hearts fan,
if the table were turned, I would expect them to be exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean that's why you're in. That's why you support a team that have a local rival. You know,
Exactly.
you want Hibs
I
to
mean,
win, and then you want Hearts to lose, and that's just all. That's part of it. So yeah, I
exactly.
think that's probably that's it. That's going to be a huge thing for Hibs on a day, and also the games before it make a massive difference. So if Rangers are it'll probably still be going on just right because it's an hour and a half before.
Mhm.
It'll just be the ends of that game when we start. So if Celtic have already won the day before and Rangers have are 3-0 up, a few minutes to go as the Hearts players walk on the pitch, then that puts a lot of pressure on them. They haven't had to deal. They've only had to do it once, I think, once or twice, and the last time it happened, they dropped points. So
I think it was just that game there against Livingston, wasn't
yeah, so
it?
I think that's the only time they've had to do it. Be the last team to play. So, but don't quote me on that.
Well, certainly
So
to be
it'll
the
be
last game to
interesting.
play, but
But on the
to
other
be not for
other
the
foot of
league.
that, if Rangers lose, then they go out knowing that all they can do is gain points. So that'll make a massive difference. So we'll see. We'll see what that does.
Yeah. And it feels dirty saying that you want Rangers to win, doesn't it? But it's for the greater good, Rory.
Well, look, I think anyone understands what people's priorities are. Celtic want to win the league, and if they don't, then anyone else, rather than Rangers.
Yeah.
Celtic would rather Hearts won the league than Rangers. Rangers would rather Hearts won the league than Celtic, and Hibs want anyone but Hearts to win the league.
Anyone.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be an interesting end to the season. And like you say, it's going to be kick-started with that derby at Easter Road. It's going to be a massive, massive game. It's whether Hibs can deal with the pressure as well, because it's the fans will be expecting us to go out there and beat them. I think in recent years, apart from a couple of games, it's not really been that much of a happy hunting ground for Hearts, compared to what it was maybe like 5-6 years previous.
No, that's been a big string in David Gray's bow, is that the Easter Road derbies particularly he's been good in. And the derbies in general, he's got as far as a Hibs manager goes, he's got a very good record. So it's almost like a writing for him in sense of a reasonably disappointing season, which is it's a weird thing to say when you're in the top six, but it's reasonably disappointing given the budget we have and the expectations we had for last season and how the cups went. But plenty of opportunity for him to save it in that game, and I'm sure he knows that.
Yeah, and I think, if there's listening to what the players say, if there's a man to get you motivated for going out to play in an Edinburgh derby, especially in front of 20,000 people at Easter Road, to try and shut those at the other end of the city up, there's not much more motivation that you need. And people might say, "Oh, you're tin pot because all you want to do is stop Hearts winning the league." It's all I care about. It's all I'm thinking about. I'm all consumed about Hearts winning the league.
Yeah, you don't want it to be like that at the end of the season, but that's pretty much all that's left, other than maybe a European spot to play for. Time's your friend. Time's your friend massively. If Hearts need a win, the longer it goes on without them getting a goal, the more the Hearts crowd gets nervous or tetchy. But if they get an early goal, then the Hibs fans get on the Hibs team's back. So it's all of it's at this point. It's all psychological. And I tell you what people love to slag it, but what an incredible advert for the split. And what we now have the 3-team title race, and they all play each other. They all play each other and play derbies to try and decide it. So and down in the other half of the table, the teams that are going to try and fight relegation are also playing against each other for it. So
it has been
end of season.
One incredible season, because I think every team in the bottom six are at risk of finishing 11th, or most of them anyway. Maybe Dundee United have just
United are safe now. Away. I reckon Dundee United are safe.
But there's that. Maybe it's only Dundee United and possibly maybe Falkirk who have got nothing much to play for. But then the other 10 teams, Hibs and Motherwell are battling it out for fourth. I don't think Motherwell, hang on, where are they right now? They are on 54 points. They're miles away from Celtic. So they can't get up to third, realistically. Between us and Motherwell for fourth, Celtic, Rangers, Hearts, and then you've got Kilmarnock, Dundee, St Mirren, Aberdeen, Livingston might start to pick up a couple of points. You never know. So it's a really, really exciting end to the season.
I think St Mirren are the ones that are most. I think if I was a buddy, I'd be worried. I think they're the team that probably most in risk of ending up in that playoff position. Killie still have something about them. They still have the ability to get points.
Yeah.
St Mirren just don't seem to be able to do it.
Yeah. Right, I spoke to you about this before we came on here. Yeah. I have done my predictions for every game post-split in the top six.
Yeah.
I'll run you through the Hibs fixtures that I've predicted, and then I'll run you through my final table.
Okay.
And you can tell me what you think. So, on game week 34, obviously Hibs play Hearts at Easter Road. I've gone for Hibs 2, Hearts 1. I'm putting my neck out there. I think we'll win the derby. I think
I said it.
There's going to be, obviously, all that pressure. And I think that if it was at Tynecastle, it's completely different. I think the fact that it's at Easter Road gives us a massive, massive opportunity to get one over them and kind of put a little bit of a dent in our title hopes. Game week 35, we're at home to Celtic, and I have gone for a 3-1 defeat. I think Celtic will probably start to understand that they need to get their finger out of their arse. And they'll come to Easter Road, and I think they'll probably walk over us. And I think they'll know that they'll need to, because I think Rangers will beat Motherwell, and obviously Rangers are playing Hearts that weekend as well. So it's a good opportunity for them to claw back some points on either Rangers or Hearts, because one of them or both of them will drop points in that game. Game week 36, we're away to Falkirk, and I think Falkirk will beat us. After watching them yesterday, and I know that they collapsed in the second half against a fairly good Rangers team, but we've just not really had their number this season. We beat them 3-0 Easter Road. I don't think it was 3-0 it flattered us really. I didn't think that we were great that game.
And they absolutely battered us last time we played at Falkirk Stadium as well.
Yeah,
and see if I have to hear Amarillo one more time, man. Fourth goal. Christ. Yeah.
I hate it, man. Absolutely hate it. So I think they'll beat us at Falkirk. The following week, we've got Rangers at Ibrox. I think they'll beat us at Ibrox 2-1. And then the final week of the season, we're at home to Motherwell, and I've gone 1-1 for that game. So I think we'll win one game post-split, and it'll be against Hearts. And if we do win another one, I think it might be against Motherwell.
I can see us beating Motherwell. I see a lot of draws in this. I really do. I see, the Celtic and the Rangers game. Could easily see Celtic and Rangers winning that. I could maybe see us grab a point off Celtic. The Motherwell game, everything changes so fast, but right now you'd think Hibs could beat Motherwell at home. The Falkirk game away, I think they're really good at home. They're really good at home, and they've really good players as well. Calvin Miller changes things for them. They've got a confident goal machine in Barney Stewart. So probably see Falkirk winning that, and then the derby's just impossible at all for me. I think if I was to put money on it, it would be a draw. It'd be one of those ones you come away from and nobody's
happy.
Yeah, nobody's happy with it. Maybe it means that they're not top anymore, but they're still in it. I don't know. But I see a lot of draws going on post-split.
I'd like to see us beat them. I think someone needs to beat them.
Would you?
It's not Celtic or Rangers.
Would you like to see Hibs win against us? That's a bold call.
It's a controversial take. Yeah. Liam McLennan would like to see Hibs win the derby. As opposed to, I would love them to beat us. No, I think someone has got to beat them that's not the Old Firm. Because I think that they could get beat by Celtic, they could get beat by Rangers. But I think if someone else beats them, us, Motherwell or Falkirk, and Celtic or Rangers then pick up points that weekend,
And bear in
keep-
mind, Celtic are 3 points behind them and have the better fixtures, and Rangers are only a point behind them but do not. I mean, Rangers have to. The big thing is that Rangers play Hearts at Tynecastle, so it's at Tynecastle, which is
Yeah.
massive for Hearts. So if you're a Hearts fan looking at this, you're confident, you're happy with it. But I think the last few weeks has seen the gap reduce. If the first game after the split you lose your place at the top of the table, that's got to be a confidence blow. So at that point, then I think, oh yeah, it's Rangers to win. But
Yeah.
yeah. So I think there's a lot riding on that Edinburgh derby, that first one. But
So-
don't assume Rangers and Celtic are going to win every game against everyone else as well.
I mean, have I got Rangers and Celtic winning every game? I think I've got Rangers and Celtic. I've got
But they
Rangers to
can't
beat.
both win every game because they've got to play each other.
Yeah, I've got Rangers to beat Motherwell. I've got them to draw at Tynecastle, draw at Parkhead, and then I've got them to beat us and then to beat Falkirk. And then I've got Celtic to beat Falkirk, Celtic to beat us, Celtic to draw with Rangers, Celtic to win against Motherwell, and then Celtic to draw against Hearts. So two draws and
Hearts
3
and Rangers
wins.
both have one thing that Celtic don't, which is why I think if I was putting my money, it's a Rangers. It's probably say Rangers are favourites, then Hearts, then Celtic, and that's that they both score goals. Hearts scored 3 the weekend against Motherwell. They drew against Livingston, but they still scored twice. They're scoring goals, especially now with Shanklin back. Rangers are scoring a barrel load of goals. They can't defend, but they can score. So Celtic just don't seem to have that clinical edge. They're winning games 1-0. So
do you want to hear my final top 6 then?
Okay,
I've told it up with goal difference as well.
Oh wow!
I don't think it's going to come down to goal. Oh no, it does come down to goal difference between who finishes second and third. So I've actually got it going down to the final day. I think on game week 36 and 37, all 3 of them are going to win. So I've got them on. By the time it gets to game week 37, I've got the top 3 is Rangers, Hearts, Celtic, all on 77 points.
Oh,
split by goal difference. Then Motherwell on 57, Hibs on 54, Falkirk on 49. And then on the final day, I've got Rangers top with 81, Hearts second on 78 with 33 goal difference, Celtic third on 78 with 29 goal difference, Motherwell fourth on 58, Hibs fifth on 55, and Falkirk sixth on 49.
Right.
But I don't know if I'm being I just don't want Hearts to win the league. I think 80 points will do it for anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I had a mate say to me, "Who do you think's going to?" I said that I think we have to accept it's Hearts now. They're going to win the league. He said, "Yeah, but do you actually think that? Or are you just preparing your mind for it, like trying to accept it before it's happened, so you feel okay if it does?" I said, "No, I actually think Hearts are going to win the league." And he said, "Right, go on. All your money, every penny you own, you had to put it on someone." I was like, "Okay, Rangers." Do you know what I mean? So I do think if right now think Rangers are playing the best football and winning them like the most convincingly.
I think it's going to come down to that last day, though, when Hearts are at Parkhead. I don't think Celtic will be. I think Celtic will still be in it, but I think I don't know. I don't know. And see, I was talking to my pal about this earlier on. He's a Hearts fan, and I was saying, see, to be honest, Hearts probably deserve it because they have been the most consistent team across the season. This has been a really, really late surge from Rangers. I mean, who'd have thought that when Russell Martin was in charge and they were kind of throwing away, here, there, and everywhere, left, right, and centre, all sorts of games, that they would be in this position come the end of the season. If they'd had Danny Rowe in from the start, they'd be miles clear at the top of the table.
But that is good news for Rangers because it means that, if you look at the league table since Danny Rowe's come in, they've been by far the better team. So they go into it playing the best football. But
they have been by far the better team, Rory, but have they been as convincing as a champion should be? compared to what Hearts are.
No, but nobody has. I don't think anybody's. I mean, it's that thing of like, such a weird question, isn't it? Do Hearts deserve that? Of course they deserve it. Anyone who manages to get through the whole season and play every game and then win it, that's how it works. I don't, they deserve it. But I don't think anyone's been as convincing as Celtic or Rangers have been for the last 30 years. So it'll be interesting because Rangers and Celtic shot themselves in the foot for a bit. Just both decided to, for the hell of it. So we'll see what this happens going into the split. But
what do you think then? So give me your top six.
My top six is pretty much identical. It's Rangers. It's Rangers, Hearts, Celtic is the top three for me. I think Motherwell are imploding a little bit. If Hibs manage to get the win against Hearts, I would expect us to go fourth. But it could be either. So I think it'll be Rangers, Hearts, Celtic, then Hibs or Motherwell. Take your pick, and then Falkirk. But I mean, the bottom three is just as. I mean, technically, Falkirk could catch us. Never mind anything else. You could have final fourth, fifth, and sixth could be Falkirk, Hibs, Motherwell. Never mind anything else. So I mean, there's so much still available.
And this is the beauty of the split, though, as well.
The next three. What?
This is the beauty of the split, like you said. Like, there's not really actually going to be any dead rubbers, I don't think.
And every game is a 6-pointer. You can't win a match and not get close or put distance between you and somebody who's playing around you, because they're all games against each other. So
it's like it's kind of formed, rather than a top six and a bottom six, it's like a top three, a middle three, like another middle three, and then a bottom three as well.
Yeah. I mean, and if you look, I do think the last game of the season, just to avoid any conspiracy theories, should have been like Rangers against Falkirk, Celtic, Hibs, and Hearts, Motherwell. Do you mean there should be the top three should have played the bottom three, and nothing else?
Yeah.
And Hibs shouldn't be playing Hearts on the last day, and Hearts, Celtic, and Rangers shouldn't be playing against each other on the last day. Because we do now have the weird scenario where it could be that it's then between Hearts and Rangers on the last day, and Celtic play Hearts.
Do you feel we'll kind of touch on this briefly and then move on, because I've got a quiz for you as well. I think it'll come down to the last day. Do you feel a little bit sorry for Hearts fans, knowing that it could, if it does go down to the last day and they're playing at Parkhead, and if they could win there, and regardless of what happens, they would win the title? Do you feel a little bit sorry for them, knowing that there's only going to be a handful of fans there? Because I think if it was anyone else that were in that position, I mean, I think it's great that they could win the league and only 500 would see it, but I think if it was anyone else in that position, I'd be like, that's a bit shite that they've not got a home game on the final day when the title could go to them. I think it's a bit off.
Yeah, I mean, I'd never heard this thing before, that the team going in the split top always got a home game last game of the season. I don't know if that was intentional or if that's just the way it's been or what it is. If that's intentional and that's something they've always done, and then they just didn't do it this season, that is weird. That is weird, and probably questions should be asked. But I mean, the real thing is that it's something that I've said for ages and ages and ages, and clubs don't want it, so it's not going to happen. Particularly Celtic Rangers, which is that there should be minimum allocation for away fans.
Yeah,
there should be. Celtic and Rangers fans complain when teams cut their allocation down because they don't like it. Despite giving away fans only like 900 seats in 60,000 capacity grounds. Hearts have obviously cut down allocation in recent years. Aberdeen did it. So Hibs then did it back to Aberdeen. So everyone's now done it. Falkirk, I don't know if it's always, because we used to get the full stand at Falkirk back in the Championship days.
I think it's because there's so much of a demand for Falkirk fans to go.
Yeah, but I mean,
they've only got 3 stands.
If you're in that situation where it's up to you, there's no regulation telling you what you have to give, and you have the opportunity to give it to home fans, of course you're going to do it.
Yeah,
of course. Let's not pretending that you would do anything. That people would do anything else. If the demand is there. But that's stopped if you have minimum allocations. But the reason, again, that the Celtic Rangers would not be okay with that, Celtic Rangers particularly, is that any percentage would have to be huge before it actually started benefiting them. Because right now they do get 10% of Easter Road. They do get 10% of smaller grounds. It's when they don't get 20 to 25% that they're annoyed, because that's what they're used to. At Fir Park, that away stand must be like 99.9% of the ground. It's huge.
It's the biggest stand in the stadium.
So I mean, that's why they're in a really uncomfortable position where they can't agree with their own fans, because they can't say, yeah, okay, we'll introduce a rule where you have to have access to a minimum percentage, because the only people that would affect would be them at first, unless it was a massive allocation of like 25% or something. So they don't want to do that. And people have totally reasonable arguments to say they shouldn't have to. I disagree, but that's it. It's a game of opinions. Celtic and Rangers fans would disagree. But that's the situation Hearts are in. It's a situation maybe Celtic and Rangers have been in the past when they've won the league from coming from behind. Maybe that was, I don't know what.
Well, Helicopter Sunday. Think about that. They were both
exactly.
away.
Well, Helicopter Sunday. Yeah, they were in the way into Easter Road. They got the full stand at that point. So
but still, like, they were both away.
Yeah, they were, because it was Motherwell and Easter Road. So it has happened before. From a personal perspective, you're asking the question. Do I feel for Hearts fans that can't make it? In a weird way, no, as well, because I think as a Hibs fan, if I was in an identical situation, I would be trying to get myself a ticket in the mad ticket scramble. But if it didn't happen, because there's only 500 fans going, Easter Road would be class. Leaf Walk would be amazing. You'd be in the Harpy Castle from like 8 a.m. They'll be potentially the place to be will be back home for Hearts fans, if that's the case.
Hopefully not. Maybe in their bed.
Potentially. So we don't know. But I think, is it a disaster situation for Hearts fans? No, I don't think so. Is it? Would it be better for them if they got more of the stand? Yeah, sure.
But at the end of the day, who gives a fuck?
Well, we don't have to worry about it, do we? Because that's why we were like, we don't want the 500 ticket nightmare situation. So we were like, we're not going to be part of it. We're not going to try to be part of this type of race. We're not interested.
We'll let you all sort that out. We're happy.
On you go, lads.
We are happy fifth. Anyway, we'll move on to a Scottish Cup semi-final quiz, Rory. Let's
do it very quickly. I've got to go soon, but let's go for it. Come on,
let's do it. Hibs Ramble Quiz of the Week, brought to you by AI Green Day. So, question number 1, Rory. There's 5 questions, all about Scottish Cup semi-finals that Hibs have been involved in. I hope you didn't revise your Scottish Cup knowledge before you come on.
No, I found out about the Scottish Cup quiz about 30 seconds ago. So, let's do it.
So, question 1. Which current Hearts player did Conrad Logan save a penalty against in the 2016 semi-final against Dundee United?
Against Dundee United?
Against Dundee United.
I'm going to say Lawrence Shankland.
You'd be incorrect. It was Blair Spittle.
Was it? Ah.
Yeah. I think Shankland was maybe at Aberdeen or Ayr United or something at the time.
Yeah, I just thought it just kind of clicked in there. I was thinking through the Scottish players in that team. There's quite a few of them with Stuart Finlay and Suter and Shankland. Spittle probably wouldn't have come to mind there.
Yeah, I mean, I was, when I was trying to find the questions for this quiz, I was like, was it Spittle, really? And you know what else I found mental was that Conrad Logan was only 29.
No. Jeez.
I know. I'm 29.
I know, right? Oh my God.
Hell, man. Next up, Lee Griffiths scored twice in the 2013 semi-final against Falkirk. Mm-hmm. But who scored the other 2 goals in the 4-3 victory? For Hibs.
So Owen Doyle was one for Hibs. Yeah, Owen Doyle was one.
Correct.
Or a lovely goal as well. Well, I said lovely goal. It was a weird one. It kind of bobbled, kind of
kind
of funny. against Falkirk, the Lee Griffiths goal at Peach there. It's a few. Oh, and the other one was an actual Peach. It was Alex
Yeah,
Harris into the
yeah.
top right hand corner. I want to say keeper gets a wee touch to it.
Aye, goalie's left. Aye, keeper should probably
Aye.
do better. Eh?
Yeah, maybe, but it's a great finish. I'm gonna go with Wonder Goal. Why not?
Yeah, Harris and Doyle, of course, were the correct answers. Question number 3: Hearts beat Hibs 2-1 at Hampden in one of the lockdown Scottish Cup semi-finals. But who scored that day for Hibs?
Kevin Nisbet. The
He missed the
penalty.
penalty.
Oh,
He
the
hit the bar.
penalty. Because that's all I remember from that cup. Do you know what's really weird about these ones? See the COVID games. Hardly remember any of it.
Yeah,
We had
well,
a season we finished third, and I remember almost none of it because I never wasn't there.
I hope you remember a little bit more because it's the next question is a COVID one as well.
Oh God. So in that, it wasn't Martin Boyle, Christian Doidge. Was it like a Paul Hanlon goal or something?
No,
Oh, and you go.
you have mentioned them though.
Oh, was it Christian Doidge?
It was Doidge, yeah.
Oh, big Doidgey. There you
It
go.
was
I think we
Doidge,
miss him. I do think we miss him. I think we miss him because I don't think there's anything wrong with a player that plays ugly. I've said that for a long time. Just because he's not a modern player.
We don't have a player that the ball bounce off his arse and end up in the back of the net.
They all
And
can.
listen, by hook or by crook, if you get goals, then you get goals. Doesn't really matter. Next up, question number 4. In the following Scottish Cup semi-final, who were the opponents and what was the score?
Right, so this is St Johnstone final, isn't it?
St Johnstone final.
If it's St Johnstone in the final, so this is what I mean. I wouldn't even know where I watched it.
I remember watching it. To be fair,
Maybe in my own house. Maybe in my own house.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, because I mean it was lockdown. None of the pubs were open.
Yeah. So strange. Was it Aberdeen?
Nope.
See, that's crazy.
We've played them in a semi. Not since, but we have played them in semi-finals. I can think of 2 semi-finals that we played them in before. We won one and lost one.
Are they in the Premiership right now?
Yeah. We spoke about them earlier.
I'm going to say...
A little bit.
Game we lost then.
The game we lost was well, what was it? 2000. It was early 2000, maybe like 2002, 2003. Derek Riordan scored that day from the penalty spot. I knew this one would catch you out. It was Dundee United.
I couldn't tell you a thing about that match. Literally, couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you the score. Couldn't tell you who scored.
We beat them 2-0. Kevin Nisbet scored in the first half. It was a screamer, and then Christian Doidge scored in the second half, and it was miles offside.
Well, that's good for us. Well done, us.
Yeah,
great to hear.
Well done, Hibs. And then we got beat in the final. Very Hibs. Hibs.
That season was so frustrating. Played St Johnstone that many times, and then just never worked out how to play them. Lost to them in a semi-final and in a final. Ridiculous.
Absolutely. And then the final question is, who has scored more Scottish Cup semi-final goals for Hibernian, Lee Griffiths or Christian Doidge?
This feels like a trick. Oh, I'll go Christian Doidge.
You've not done very well at this quiz. It's Lee Griffiths.
Not been good. The last time I did one of these, it was decent. I thought that sounded like a trick question to me. I'm like, that's got to be Christian Deutsch.
No, Christian Deutsch got 2. 1 against Hearts, 1 against Dundee United, and then Lee Griffiths has 3. 2 against Falkirk, and then 1 against Aberdeen the year prior.
That's right, yeah. Nah, it's not been good for me. Delete it all.
That's terrible, Rory. That's really, really poor.
That's it. That's the end of me, man. That's this. I'll never live this down. I hang my head in shame. I'll try and I'll go back and watch over more Hibs games. Do you know the other thing about it? I don't watch highlights from games we've lost. Yeah,
neither do I really. I was trying to find out who scored that day against Hearts in the semi-final in the COVID one, and then I went onto YouTube to try and find it because I couldn't find it anywhere on BBC or that. So I went on YouTube to try and find who'd scored, and I was like, why is it not showing the Hibs goal? I was like, the Hearts opener, and then I was skipping through it, and then it was like Hibs 1, Hearts 1, and I was like, oh, well, I'll go back, and I couldn't find the goal. It turns out I was watching Heart of Midlothian Goals, the YouTube channel.
You're going to get really interesting suggested videos over the next wee while. 50 greatest Hearts goals. It's going to be
50 goals against Hibs.
Yeah,
but anyway, Rory, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on.
And you always love talking Hibs. It just seems to be every time I'm on the ramble, it's after weeks we've lost. So we need that sorted at some point.
Oh, well, we still have a laugh. That's the main thing.
That's all you can do. If you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Make sure you don't work too hard ahead of the World Cup, though. I
can't promise anything. I want to be ready for it, man.
Are you going over?
Oh, yeah.
Are you? Class. I love that from you, man. I'm not. I'll be watching on the telly here at home.
They might be the place to be. I'm going to enjoy it as a fan. Just go over there as a fan. But the place to be might be Scotland, by the way, because there's not quite so many people going over there, and the pubs will be rammed, and they've got the late license. So mate,
it should be good. It should be good. Hopefully we can come out of the group at least anyway. A win against Haiti should hopefully do us. Fingers crossed. Well, anyway, thank you everyone for joining us. It's been a pleasure to talk about Hibs, even though we got beat at the weekend. If you don't already, get us on social media. We are at the Hibs Ramble on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, etc., etc. And then all that's left for me to say is enjoy your Hibs free weekend, and we'll speak to you before the derby. See you later. Bye.
Let's get ready to rumble.